Hi, I am Judith Patterson. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and I just want to show you how to make a card. I've recently learned how to do the alcohol technique for backgrounds on cards. I've been seeing a lot of other demonstrators do it, and I wanted to try it out too. So I ended up making my daughter's birthday card with it last week. I have no idea what she did with that card, or I'd show it to you right now, but we're going to go ahead and make the same card again. This technique is not difficult, but there is a learning curve on it. I've watched several videos of several different ladies doing the same technique, just slightly different. My favorite one by far was Michelle Jutisra, I think. I'm probably really mangling her name, but I'll put a link to her YouTube video down below. She is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. So she uses this alcohol ink air blower by Tim Holtz. I don't have one of those, and I was so sad. And then I realized my camera cleaner is pretty much the same thing. It's just a bulb that blows air, and it works pretty good. So I just grabbed this out of my camera cleaning kit, and I got isopropyl alcohol, the 99%. I think that's going to make a difference. We'll see. I didn't use it on the card last week, and I had some, the vellum just wants to curl when it gets wet. So hopefully this will keep it from doing it quite so bad. What I was using last week was the 91% for my daughter's card. So we'll see how this works. So anytime you're doing that, you want, well, I'll be using vellum from Stampin' Up. I'm going to be using a Blackberry Bliss card base. It's 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, scored at 4.25 inches. And I'm also going to be using a piece of the gold foil cardstock, or specialty paper. I love this. And it measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches. The stamp sets we're going to be using today are Peaceful Moments in Color and Contour, but there's not going to be a lot of stamping. There is going to be a little bit of heat embossing using gold embossing powder. So let me flip my camera around, and y'all be sure to let me know if you have any questions. Type them in below, and I always check my comments, and I'll be happy to reply back to you if you have any questions about this technique. Like I said, it's not hard, but there is a little bit of a learning curve. So let me flip that camera over and we'll get started. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, I forgot to mention the most important thing other than the alcohol, blends and a paintbrush. And I also have a paper towel just to clean my brush off in between. So I'm going to use the brush end, one of my blends. I have the Night of Navy and Blackberry Bliss blends. So I'm just going to put a little bit of color on. Then I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol to that and blow it around. And pardon the squeaking on my little blower. I bet that is picking up on the camera horribly. And there's no real rhyme or reason to where you want to blow it. So whatever you want to do. It's good to get colors that complement each other, but that can contrast as well. One of the times I tried this, where it didn't work out so great for me, I had two colors that were just way too similar. So it just looked like a big weird blob. It was not pretty. And you can alternate colors or keep adding the same color for a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more of this. Ooh, that wasn't quite dry there. Having the 99% alcohol, I think, will dry a lot faster than the 91%, just because there's not so much water in it. And one thing I forgot to grab was a piece of white cardstock to go behind this vellum before I mount it on the card. Of course, it doesn't have to be white. Different colors will make the colors show up in different ways, but I like to use white so that these colors I'm adding will show up nicely. But you could also add like a patterned designer series paper behind it or another color. The possibilities are really endless with this type of background. I didn't get enough alcohol on it that time. So I'm still learning some things about this, but it's so fun. It makes such beautiful backgrounds. I didn't want to wait too long to share this video. I go ahead and add some more Night of Navy, and you can mix it up and add, you can use some of the lighter colors, but the darker colors are just gonna be a lot bolder because you can see they get lighter as you move it around, move the ink around. So if you're already starting out with a light color, it might just kind of fade away and not be as noticeable. So since I'm using my cheap little blower for my camera, I don't have as much air strength, I guess, but it does still work. So, and this 99% alcohol is definitely drying faster than the 91% I used last week and not wrinkling my page up as much, which is nice. Really liking the way this navy changes colors as it spreads across the page. And I like the way it blends into that Blackberry Bliss. And the Blackberry Bliss, too, is so pretty the way the colors shaded differently. You can always, if you have something that you want to move around a little bit more, just add a little bit of the alcohol back to it. Because like I say, this 99% alcohol is drying so quickly. I'm not having much of a chance to move things around, but I just add another drop and I'm good to go. And you can add a bunch of color at once or just small amounts. And I am I haven't been cleaning the brush off a lot, but it's not really picking up a lot of ink. So I haven't been worrying about really brushing it off. Before, when I was using the other alcohol, I did clean it pretty well between changing colors so that my alcohol didn't change colors. But you can see it's still as clear as it was when I started. Add just a little bit more alcohol to here and right here. Blend that up a little bit better. And as you can see, sometimes it's easier to move the bulb I'm shooting everything around with, and sometimes it's easier to just move the paper. I love the way that looks, and I love that my paper is only a little wrinkled. It's not bad at all. So this is one of the early ones that I tried, and it rolled it right up. And it was before I discovered this thing. I think I was trying to use a straw to blow the ink around with this, and it just didn't work out quite so well. I know that some people can use a straw and it turns out fabulous, but for me, it just didn't really work. Okay, so I'm just going to slip this back here so you can see better what this is looking like. These colors are amazing. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on my little jar. And my little jar is just something, of course, I grabbed this on Amazon too. My daughter sometimes likes to make her own inks. So I got her a bunch of these little ink bottles, and she let me have one. So I'll add that link underneath as well. And now let's do some heat embossing. So I have this stamp from the Color and Contour set. And we're going to put this flower up here in this corner. And then we're going to emboss it with gold. So your embossing powder always from Stampin' Up comes in a little round container like this. I like using these containers. You can pick them up at most hobby stores. I think I got this from Michael's. It's just handy to have something larger that you can pour your powder over your project in and then shake it off. Okay, so I'm going to do this flower in the corner here. Make sure it's inked up really well. Then tap that off. You can see it's got the embossing powder on it. So I'm going to set this to the side. Kind of made a little bit of a mess there. I'm going to go ahead and heat set this with my heat tool. go. I love heat embossing. I think using that heat tool is too much fun. Okay, so now from the Peaceful Moments set, I'm using the Happy Birthday. I've got that on a B block. So I'm going to ink it up. And be careful with these stamps, these cling stamps, that you don't rock your stamp whenever you're stamping. You want to apply even pressure. So I'm just going to overlap that just a tiny bit. And I'm pushing firmly down, but I'm not rocking it at all. Grab my embossing powder again. Cover that. Okay, so I got a little bit extra embossing powder here that I don't want. So I just have a fine tipped brush, paintbrush. Clean that up a little. Okay, so once again, I'm going to set it with the heat tool. Move all this to the side so I won't spill any more embossing powder on my work surface here. So I always recommend that you use something to protect your surface when you're stamping. Today I'm just using the small piece of grid paper for my Stamparatus. I usually like to use the nice big, I think they're 12 by 18 inches, I think, pieces of grid paper to cover my surface. It just makes cleanup a lot easier. It gives me a surface to stamp off on, test colors on, just whatever I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paper trimmer out and trim this basic white down to 3 7/8 of an inch by, I think, 5 1/8. And then I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus on the back of this vellum. This is not something I use very often, but it's perfect for vellum. Can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to grab my silicone mat here. And I'm just curling the edge of this tape up to where there's not any hanging over the edge. There we go. And I am trying to go all the way across each side so that it holds it down really well, because like I said, this alcohol ink, or this alcohol makes it, makes the vellum want to curl a little bit, but the 99% alcohol is doing so much better than the 91 did. So make sure my cardstock is cleaned off. You only get one shot at laying this down, so make sure you have your corners lined up well. This is one of the few cards that I have not used Stampin' Dimensionals on. go through a lot of Stampin' Dimensionals. This is my favorite adhesive. This is multi-purpose liquid glue. I love it. It has a nice firm hold and it dries clear. And you get a few seconds where you can move your cardstock around before it is really stuck on there. So very handy. I did get a little crazy with that tape. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a piece of basic white cardstock to the inside. This piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I try to keep these, just a stack of these cut and on the side of my desk because I go through so many of them. Just makes it easier to write on the inside without having to have a special pen, so that you can see what your message is to whoever you're sending your card to. Okay, I did get a little bit of tape down here still, so I'm going to use this. I don't even know what this is called anymore, but it's like an adhesive eraser. So I'm just making really small pickup motions here, and it's cleaning the adhesive off the edge of my card. There we go, very nice. So what do y'all think of this technique and this card? It's so easy and so fast to put together, and I wish, oh, there, you can see it just a little bit better how it's shiny. It's just shiny and happy. Okay, so that's all I've got for you today. I'll put all the measurements and written instructions on my blog so that you can see those if you would like, and I'll have all the links on my blog as well. And I'll go ahead and put them at the bottom of the description for this post also, for this video, as well as the additional links to the Tim Holtz little air squeegee. I'm not sure what it's called. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're in the US and you don't have a demonstrator, but you would be interested and seeing some of the other great things that we have, just let me know and I'd be happy to send you a catalog. And in fact, we are getting ready to release the mini catalog. You can see here. And Stampin' Up! Every year has something called Celebration. It's usually at the first of the year. This year, we get to do 2. So the Celebration brochure, I can send you one of these too. So everything in this brochure is free with a purchase, and it only lasts for 2 months while supplies last. So it's a good idea to get started on it soon. So both of these start August 3rd. And like I say, if you're in the US and you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. So just send me a message and I'll send you one back. Talk to you soon. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.